Do subscribe to Bookstream YouTube channel to receive latest updates on this audiobook. Click the bell icon to receive latest updates on book reviews. No More, No Less. Author Sandesh Shanmugam. Chapter 2. Formation of Life. This is the tale of us, how we came into being, how we started to write these squiggles and listen to the words, how we built shelter and made astonishing feats in the field of science and technology. This is a story for every individual to talk and praise about. After the creation of our planet Earth, which was expressed through the previous chapter, the creation of a stable atmosphere took again millions of years. Through constant seismic activity of the young core and the bombardment of meteors, comets, as well as asteroids, a process involving various scientific phenomena like condensation, precipitation, evaporation. I bet you remember your school days while listening to these terms for a while, and you might be nostalgic about it. The Earth itself started to evolve. It is theorized that after coalescing, a hypothetical planet the size of Mars collided with the Earth, scattering the parts of the Earth's materials in space, which again took billions of years to cool. Today we know that our natural satellite moon revolving around us like a small kid sitting on a merry-go-round. Well, this story is also vital in our existence. Who knows, maybe this hypothetical planet named as Theia might have had water, which after collision condensed to form liquid. There are findings of water on the polar regions on the moon too. The constant boiling of our young planet formed various organic components from the inorganic remnants. The pride of discovering the moon's water reserves goes to the Chandrayaan mission of ISRO, India. The highly active atmosphere through constant lightning and thunder formed the components of amino acids in the liquid. These theories are explained in the 60s and experimented on the apparatus which we all read about in our school days. This famous experiment is called as Stanley Miller experiment. And the amino acids which were generated through those electrodes under ammonia gas are still questioned by many skeptics on the contamination of the apparatus itself. Well, lots of experiments are done since then, and many proceedings are published on the scientific journals. Who knows, one among these readers or listeners might find out a solution to the daunting question on life in future. The existence of water is the major resource for any life to flourish and evolve. Well, it is said that through these phenomena, life started emerging from non-living to the living. But many others are supporting panspermia, a process of migration of species, and are supporting that we might have descended from the alien race. We need to take a keen consideration that there are indeed lots of differences between science and pseudoscience. It is like a battle between the good and the bad, and it takes time for one to win against the other. Through proper knowledge and experimental evidence, one can prove the other as either right or wrong. Post-Renaissance in England, a famous personality whose works on the creation are indeed discussed by many, was born to explain this strange phenomenon of life. The evolution of life back then wasn't known by many and was considered a sin which was against the religious authority. It was indeed against the Creator himself and was prosecuted in front of the public. Many great beings died in this process of questioning the authority, but this gentleman was different. He wanted to travel and conduct scientific research on biology. With the help from the King of England, he went on to many expeditions and collected various varieties of samples for scientific investigation. His daring attitude and adventure-filled lifestyle made him to explore many worlds of flora and fauna. He himself have recorded the same in his autobiography. You might be wondering why the author is hesitating to mention the name. Well, I am not. We need to build a character just like those childhood fairy tales so that it is possible to remember easily. This famous personality was none other than Sir Charles Darwin. His theory of evolution is explained in many languages across the world and is read by many. Indeed, adapted in many school books. It took many years for us to frame and collect the rules because the biological evolution itself takes time. This Darwin called as the natural selection took millions of generations to evolve and change. His famous one-liner, survival of the fittest, which is still being imprinted on many sweatshirts, was really an amazing insight. There was also a competition between him and another famous personality called Alfred Russel Wallace. On publishing the work, the theory of evolution is similar to that of the grand concert of Beethoven and Mozart, but this one in the field of biology. The tree of life is worth mentioning here, in which we all share some genetic traits. With all that of this species, these are indeed proven by the famous discovery of DNA by Watson and Crick, with supporting results from the famous Rosalind Franklin. The once formed single cell multiplied onto many sister, brother, son, cousin, as well as daughter cells through a process we now know as mitosis. These cells then colonized and lived symbiotically. The rich nutrients of the then young earth made to grow bigger and bigger. Then these colonies, through the law of Darwinian evolution, co-evolved and formed various microbial life forms like bacteria and viruses. They also split themselves with a phenomenon called asexual reproduction. Due to change in the atmosphere, the morphological changes also made them to change intrinsically. The so-called survival codes was imprinted on their nucleus through helical spiraling patterns which shared organic molecules with that of the external environment. In two species, one started to trap the sunlight and prepared its own nutrients for growth and started to expand through terrestrial underpass, forming roots, and attracted the second species by providing food. Through pointing its apex towards the atmosphere, these species took time to survive, evolve, and spread their genes. Some dominated, some exterminated under the rule book of environment, which most of them call now as nature. One priest in the Renaissance world was an inspiration for Sir Charles Darwin. His name and talent was recognized and was famous to many botanists. He is none other than Gregor Mendel. The Mendelian work on the classification of peas are really the work of the creator himself. His process of artificial selection of the pea plants are indeed evidence which acted as a reference to Darwin's book. The process of artificial selection is dominating the natural selection in providing quality products from food, good and selected breeds, to education, survival of the intellectual, now for a decent job. He is often considered to be as the father of genetics. From nothingness to somethingness to wellness is what evolution is teaching us. This is how we all evolved, physically and now intellectually, by generations of breeding. So wherever you see any organisms, don't forget its history. Thanks to those colonized, co-evolved bacteria under liquid medium, we are able to think and write about our past, carry the same past on our bodies. In the 90s, American government proposed a project in funding all the genes present in the humans, and it was called as the Human Genome Project. It took a decade and got completed in the year 2000. Once interviewed about what he would have done if he was born in the end of this millennium, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, told the reporters that he would like to hack biology. Today, lots of young researchers abroad are contributing their time, energy, and resources in developing various life-changing and life-enhancing drugs. Ours is the only planet which has an atmosphere, water, right locality on its host star, magnetic field, self-sufficient food and water, until we colonize and pollute other planets. In the Earth, there are various types of bacteria located on extreme geological locations. Various researches are conducted on the International Space Station, ISS for short. The ISS came into existence due to the efforts of many spacefaring nations. The experiments conducted there are many. One among them was the placement of certain type of bacterial culture in the extreme environment of space. To the surprise of many astronauts, the bacterium not only survived but was healthy when placed back in its actual habitat. We all have learned about the basic structure of human cell in our school days. An animal cell is made of different organelles which perform various activities. One such organelle is mitochondria, which we often know it as the powerhouse of our cell. Well, not many of us know that it was once a bacteria living symbiotically inside a living cell. The recent development in nanotechnology, wherein the findings on target-based drug delivery is providing promising results on the treatment of various complex diseases. The more we peer into the microcosm, the more complex it turns out to be. It was James Candor, the father of set theory, who told that no matter how much we divide, there will definitely be infinite number of possibilities to divide further. We are all made up of trillions of those individual cells which are working in unison and are activated through neural impulses nourished by biochemical nutrients. Few scientists are doing research in extreme weather conditions. With the advent of computers, few are simulating the conditions for life to evolve in prehistoric Earth through various complex mathematical logic, algorithms and programs. Astrobiologists and astrophysicists are finding geophysical and geographical locations in neighboring planets to test the condition and history of life's emergence. Through NASA's findings on Cassini mission to planet Saturn and its moon, one of the lander probe Huygens made a descent on the Saturn satellite Titan. Titan is the only natural satellite apart from Earth to have an organic methane-rich atmosphere. The probe also captured mountains and streams of liquid methane, rich hydrocarbon-based environment. Few scientists say that in Titan it rains methane, which is spherical in nature due to Saturn's gravity. Places like Europa, one of the Jovian satellite, natural satellite of Jupiter, has water ice beneath its surface. In our own planet, there is an isolated location called Lake Vostok in Antarctica, which is considered as very ancient lake on our planet. This lake is submerged below ice in great depth. Few scientists tried to drill the ice and wanted to collect the samples of the lake. Due to the contamination fear of water with that of an oil-covered borehead, they stopped the process. NASA is planning to create a mission wherein a bore is drilled through the ice sheet through renewable energy source. This mission is a one-way mission wherein a robotic submersible is made to dive inside the lake and monitored through its telemetry system. The necessary area is investigated and certain experiments will be conducted. There are life forms in suboceanic trenches too. Many bacteria are living on the hydrothermal vents of these deep sea trenches. They are living in an environment with absence of natural sunlight. Considering all these cases here on our planet will lead to a chance of finding life forms elsewhere. In October of 2014, the ESA or European Space Agency's Rosetta mission successfully reached a targeted comet and placed a lander called Philae. The purpose of this mission was to investigate the condition of the comet and to check the presence of water on its surface. With some slight difficulties on landing, made its effort to send the acknowledgement signal successfully. The research is going on and within few years the findings and investigations will be revealed to the general public. Even the Curiosity lander or Mars Science Laboratory (MSL), famously called by many as Curiosity rover, provided the evidence of the existence of water on the Martian land. The Opportunity rover has created a record for traveling more distance and surviving the extreme Martian weather for almost a decade. The more we investigate, more questions starts to arise. But our questioning skills are evolved with that of our ancestors in Greece. Hope you enjoyed listening to this recording. Do subscribe to Bookstream YouTube channel to receive updates on this audiobook. Click the bell icon to receive latest book reviews. Until the next updates, see you, take care. Thank you for your patient listening.